Let's summarize our answers to the two questions from before. If you need to put your money into a single investment, S or R, given that both generate the same expected return, you would prefer the one with the smallest volatility, that is, asset S. In this case, you view S as having lower risk. If you already have some of your wealth in asset M, you would choose the investment, again S or R, that combined with M leads to the portfolio with the smallest volatility. In this example, R combined with M leads to a portfolio with lower volatility. As a result, in this case, you view R as having lower risk. The key point that comes out of this example is that asset volatility, what we computed in the first question, and contribution to the volatility of a portfolio, the second question, are different concepts. This point is critical and sometimes difficult to understand. It is possible for an asset to have a high volatility and yet contribute little to the overall volatility of an investor's portfolio. An example of such an asset is asset R. But why does asset R contribute less to overall portfolio volatility than asset S? Look at these two graphs. In them, the x-axis is the return of asset M. And in the y-axis, I have the return of asset S, the left graph, or R in the right graph. Each point in the graph corresponds to one state of the economy. For example, on the graph on the left, the point labeled 2 tells us that in the state 2, the return on asset M is 6% and the return on asset S is 1%. Look at the graph on the right. One important thing to notice is that when the return on asset M is large, the return on asset R is low, and vice versa. The graph on the left, on the other hand, does not show the same pattern, and if anything, we see almost the opposite. When the return on M is high, so is the return on S. This helps explain why the resulting volatility with asset R is lower. The returns of R and M move in opposite directions. In general, the additional volatility contributed by an asset to a portfolio is going to depend on this co-movement between the returns of the asset and the return on the existing portfolio. An asset with a very positive co-movement is an asset that will increase a lot the overall volatility of the resulting portfolio. Hence, we say it is a risky asset. An asset with a low co-movement or even a negative co-movement is one that will not contribute much to the volatility of the resulting portfolio. Hence, we say it is a low-risk asset. As this discussion makes clear, our measure of risk is not going to be the individual volatility of an asset. Rather, it is going to be how these assets co-move with the current portfolio of the investor. The strength of this co-movement is called beta, and it is our main measure of risk.